Kevin Barron with Mutant Geckos. We started back in 2016. I work with eublepharous species, including morphs and wild types.
Have we hit a ceiling with leomorphs, or are we only scratching the surface in 2022?
2022 has really been the best year yet. I thought we kind of hit a ceiling last 20 and 21. My expectations and what I see people putting together, and some of the combos, and mixing Black Knight into some of the orange morphs, and really inventing some incredible stuff. And also there's been some new morphs that come out in the last 2 years, and people are starting to add those in, and also going back into the past and taking morphs that people forgot about and bringing them back today and making them better.
Do you see other species in eublepharid gaining more popularity over time?
When I got into eublepharous, it was about 2016. I really like wild type species. It just piques my interest, but there hasn't been, I see people and really die-hard eublepharous people really do like the wild types a lot, and there are certain ones people are starting to recognize and starting to work with and breed more often. And I believe that there's other ones that people don't really know about, and as they get more popular, a 12-inch eublepharous species, they remind you, when people start realizing how big they get, I believe that there will be a lot more people interested.
In your opinion, what is the most underrated morph in leopard geckos, and why?
The most underrated morph in leopard geckos, I believe, would be the bay. The reason being is because it is an eye-morph. Eye-morphs are very hard to put into other morphs because of the past history of leopard geckos and other eye genes that would wipe out the bay, because it's very similar to what we call eclipse. Before, in leopard geckos, you have to know all your heads, and people like to know what kind of heads are inside the leopard gecko and possible heads. So adding another eye gene that would wash out the eye gene, it's just people don't want to get into that. And there's so many albinos with eclipse in it already. To add another eye gene is kind of like muddying the water, and people really don't want to do that. Also, it happened to come out in the rainwater albino or the Las Vegas albino, and people don't really work with that. People work a lot with Tremper and some with Bell, and they don't want to mix that in. And also, I think maybe people don't trust the person that came out with it, that did the legwork. I don't know. That's 3 reasons why I don't think the bay is very popular, but I'm going to prove that wrong, and I'm going to bring the bay into popularity. You'll see. I'm going to prove that baby out.
What do you get out of snakes that you don't get from geckos, and vice versa?
That's a good one. I kind of get the same thing. The reason why I do Leos is because they're very much like snakes. I grew up, I only had one snake in my life when I was a kid, and it happened to be a retic when I was 18, a mainland retic. It got stolen when it was about 8 feet. I never really had a snake till recently. I went over a buddy of mine's house, and I held one of his Phrynonac Facilinotus, and I just fell in love with them. And they're very similar to the care of a leopard gecko as well, because it's weekly care, it's not everyday care. So that's kind of why it's not why I started keeping snakes. I love the whole arboreal aspect of what I keep. I got into hognose as well because I like the morphs, and there's certain morphs that I wanted to work with. It's just a lot of fun, snakes and geckos together. And also, I was doing leopard geckos, eublepharous species, for the last 5 years, and really hardcore, not really working with everything else. And I really just wanted to expand my horizons. I got some Phrynonax Facilinotus, and then the Barons, and then the Rhinos, and then it all started jiving in my eyes. Like, I saw the Matrix, and I was like, wow. I've always been into reptiles and stuff, and as soon as I started messing with the snakes, there's a lot of stuff that especially arboreal species, that I just fell in love with. And who doesn't love a hognose, man? Those things are cool. They're little, you can keep them, and you could keep them in like relatively a nice size terrarium. I don't really see anything like I kind of like, I see a lot of stuff actually, but I just really want to mess with what I'm doing now, like the barons and the rhinos, and keep it kind of, I mean, I have about 25 snakes already, so it's a pretty good amount of snakes I have. I like the Spilotes, and I like a lot of the colubrids. I do the morphs and Leos, and now I have like a little morph project in the hognose, and then I have the wild types. When I say wild types, I have pure species like the barons and the rhinos and the Frauenachs, which the Frauenachs, once people find out what those are insane. I mean, the colors, the scales, they're awesome. I mean, they're mind-blowing, man. When you hold those, you see an adult, it's just like you can't even believe that thing's real. I really want to just expand with those. They're just awesome. I don't see, I mean, I look at everything. The corn snakes are super cool, the corn snakes morphs, but it's crazy. The corn snake morphs are crazy. There's this, I saw this one called Golden or Gold Dust or something like that I really like. I might just get a couple pets here and there, but as far as breeding, I don't think I'll be breeding anything else. I'm kind of going to stick with what I got for now. If something tickles my fancy, then I'll probably definitely go for it. I watched this guy, Connor Wardle. He does a lot of the, like, I think the Texas species. There's this shovel nose snake that's tricolored kind of, and I really love that thing. I don't know why I like it so much, but it's just so cool looking. The guy's very interesting. His Instagram's really cool, man. I love watching his Instagram, and I think he's getting more active with putting out some videos himself. So I really look forward to seeing what he has to offer.
How much work does it take to get Cyclura socialized, and do people underestimate the effort and time it takes to do it?
I pondered this question because it really is a good question. I would like to say I know everything, but I would like to say also that I think every animal is an individual. It has to do a lot with the breeder. My breeder was an amazing and probably genetics, because the female that was the mother to mine and the male, they're both super chill. I mean, you could do anything with them. They're really cool. And the people I got them from, they take their time with the babies and they hold the baby. They don't just throw the babies in a whole thing, like a whole tub, and then just feed them every day and leave them. They actually held them. So when I got my rhino, there were certain things that I followed that helped it make easier. One of the things was keep them in a very high traffic area, which I did. It was in it was like the perfect storm. I got my rhino iguana when my son was born, so we raised the rhino iguana inside my son's playpen, and my son's, he's all over him, he's kissing the glass, he's like staring at him. My wife would, we gave her treats, and she'd be up against the glass and we'd feed her treats. She just became very, very cool. And it was just a perfect storm, because you really need to give them a lot of attention. Without the attention, they could become dangerous. I had back probably like 25 years ago, I had a pair of rhino iguanas, and one was pretty cool, but nothing like mine now. Mine's dog tame. The other one was an alligator. I had to throw the food in and close the door. I mean, it was coming at you. So I think there's a lot of things playing to it. When I got my iguana, I picked the chillest one, and it was super cool. I mean, I looked at it and I was like, my wife makes fun of me because it's like the twinkle in my eye, I was holding it, and it was just something. I knew it was the one, and it was the perfect storm. It was raised in I don't think I could do it again today. I don't think that I have the time to give it, and now it's just super chill. We go out there, it's already cool, but you have to raise them like really with a lot of love, a lot of care, a lot of time. Has to be in the view, it has to see people all the time, and it just became cool. At least that's what I did. And I think that they all have their own personalities. It's hard to say when you don't have like a big pool to actually do a scientific study, or even like a lot of big observation, because I've only raised one in the last 30 years, and the other two I had, one was kind of cool, but there's so many factors that could play into it. It's hard to say, but they can be super cool. I mean, my girl crawls in my lap lays down and just wants scratches. I mean, it's crazy. It's almost hard to believe. That's how awesome it is. It's almost hard to believe. It's like, really? You're chilling? Like a dog? You know, it's yeah, man, you have to put the time and dedication. Like I said, I would love to keep more Cyclura. It's my passion. Cyclura really is my first passion, but you know, the time and dedication it takes, you can't just put them in your backyard and hope they be cool. Hope they're gonna be cool. You know, you really have to hands on, all in, at least for 4 or 5 years. After like my girl's gonna be about 5 years this year coming in October. You know, she's cool now, and I go in there and I work all day, and she's outdoors. We're in South Florida, so she lives in a big outdoor enclosure, which needs to get bigger because it's like walking. It would be really cool walking into like something huge, you know, like maybe like a 10-foot by 10-foot room outdoors. So that's the goal. Mountains, little rock skates, and you know, I can't put any plants in there because she eats them. Gone. But it would be really cool. Really cool.